like, Chandan, in terms of the Nifty setup?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. So really the market turned volatile in the entire series. For first half of the month, the Nifty index headed towards 25,450 marks. But in last 6 days, the index has corrected by more than 800 points. So net to net, we are back to the level where the index started at the end of previous series. August ended at 24,500. We are just slightly higher than the same. It is also trading below its volume weighted average, and we have seen fresh call writing at 25,000. So it's trading below V-wave, so upside seems to be kept. The interesting part is that couple of days back, the bank Nifty was making positive streak, and that was the record streak of 12 days in last 8 years. But in last 6 to 7 days, the entire momentum got fizzled out due to multiple reasons. So I believe some sort of kept upside could be there. However, it may turn volatile as VIX started to recover from lower levels. So I believe 24,442, which is a major support working well from last 3 months, may provide some resilience or some support to the market decline. But at the upside, till it doesn't surpass about 25,000, it would be tough for bulls to get the dominance. So I believe we need to trade in between 24,333, 24,442 on the lower side with hurdle at 25,000 marks on the upside.
And then are you hearing about some kind of panic with respect to the margin trading book which is there, because it's a nearly 1 lakh crore book which is there in the market, and because of the sudden fall in markets, is there any a sell-off happening because of that?
No, we have not seen that picture. In fact, the position is comparatively light. If I look at the data set of FIIs are continuously selling. They are selling to the tune of around 5,500 crore. In fact, in last 3-4 days, they sold to the tune of around 15,000 crore. Only interesting part or surprising is that India VIX spiked by around 15% in the last week, and that spike has seen from its lifetime low level. So VIX has recovered from 9.5 to now 11.5. So because of that, some spike may be there in the option premium. But as of now, there is no major panic in the market in terms of margin selling. Only concern is that index has seen a correction of around 800 points. But in last 2 or 3 days, the profit booking is severe in terms of mid cap and small cap. So I believe if market doesn't hold key level of 24,442, which is working well, then only there will be trigger of the margin pressure. But as of now, I believe market might hold that level, and because of that, some stability could be there. But we need to closely watch next 1 or 2 days to get some sense in the market in terms of the margin selling or any kind of panic or surge in the VIX in the Indian market.
Okay, Chandan, hold on to that thought.
Quickly on this Monday morning.
So if we need to find out the resilience in the market, I believe Nifty Auto could be one sector which can provide some sort of stability, and the GST reform and the consumption theme along with festive mood might boost this sector. So most of the counters are positive in the auto segment, whether we talk about Ashok Leyland, Maruti, Eicher Motor and all. So Ashok Leyland could be our preferred pick, which has been making a high top, high bottom on the weekly chart even after a corrective move in the broader market. So we are recommending to buy with support of 137 for an upside target was 148 to 150 level. Second trading idea to accumulate is buy on L&T. We have seen a positive price pattern, and in fact, the breakout is happening after 18 long months. So if a sustainable move happens beyond 3750, 3800 zone, then fresh leg of rally cannot be ruled out in selective capital counter. So I believe one can buy with support of 3620 for an upside target was 3900 to 3920 in L&T from capital goods segment.
L&T was clearly one of the more resilient ones in Friday's session, even though you had the index breathe some critical levels. Few of the large caps did manage to sustain and hold through. Of course, was L&T, and the other one being Tata Motors after some of their cyber attack issues got resolved, and that stock also managed to hold out. But Kunal, sectorally, do you think banks is the weakest link, or could it be IT?
So I think IT, realty are the two weakest sectors.
Not banks.
Not banks. Within banks, the only shielding part is that the PSU banks have done reasonably well. So that's offsetted the huge negativity across the private sector banking names. And within private sector banks also, Aisha, it's the likes of ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. They are the only two ones. Axis Bank had a phenomenal uptrend, and I think there was a point where almost for 8 or 9 consecutive days, the stock was up some 100-120 odd points, and that's a phenomenal jump for Axis Bank. More of a solitary move with respect to all the other private sector banking stocks which have underperformed.
Okay. What about something like an M&M, Kunal? Curious to know, because top loser, it did extremely well, clocked an all-time high, and then we've seen a bit of a cool-off on the stock. What next?
So I think M&M is going that zone of consolidation. So there was this point we were discussing this that earlier that Maruti is now emerged as a very strong performer and a leader for the entire auto pack. So I think when you have a second rung, not a second rung as such, but a underperformer stock for the last I think 2-3 years, that's made a comeback. The earlier performer or the very strong performer generally takes a bit of a backseat and then goes into a consolidation. I think M&M is going through that phase where the stock is just navigating around 3,500, 3,600 mark plus minus a couple of 100 points for itself. That doesn't mean that it's extremely negative, but this could be a very good opportunity because when such kind of stocks goes into a hibernation period or a zone where these stocks consolidate, it generally becomes a very good opportunity for long-term traders or investors to try and chip into, especially at a point where the risk reward is in favor and the stocks goes into a decent corrective phase from that pivot point.